What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing the full review on the FigZero Snake Eyes 1/6 scale collectible figure by Threezero. Now, if you haven't seen the two videos that I did on this figure previously, you may want to check those out. I don't want to go too deep into it in this video, but I did run into a few issues with the wrist pegs, so you'll definitely want to check those out if you're considering buying this figure. I will touch on it a little bit later in this video as well, though. But for now, let's go ahead and dive in and start talking about the accessories that come with Snake Eyes. Starting off with weapons, Snake Eyes comes with two swords. They have a silver finish on the blades, and they can also be stored in the sheaths on Snake Eyes' back. The sheath is also a separate piece. You have to remove Snake Eyes' head, and then you pull it around his body, and it just form fits. You do have to slide it a little bit around to make sure that the strap on his left shoulder stays in place, but it's fairly easy to do, pretty much straightforward. Snake Eyes comes with 3 stun grenades, which are the smaller grenades. These can be stored on the strap on his left leg. The 3 smoke grenades can be stored on the harness on Snake Eyes' chest. A knife, which can be stored in the sheath, and a hidden blade, which you can plug in to the forearm guard on his left arm. He comes with the Beretta style pistol, his signature Uzi. The magazine on the Beretta is removable, and the top bullet is actually painted, which is a nice touch. The slide is also articulated, so if you want it to look like he ran out of ammo, you can do that as well. The Uzi features a folding stock, so you can actually fold it in or extend it. Just be careful because it is thin and pretty fragile, so you definitely don't want to break it. As far as hands go, the figure comes installed with open palm hands. In addition, you get 2 trigger finger hands, 2 fisted hands, and 2 hands which allow him to hold the swords. He has pouches on his left and right arms. These are molded plastic, so you can't open them and use them or anything like that, but they are free floating, so you can move them around. And he has several pouches on his belt. Again, these are molded plastic, but they can be moved around in position. His Beretta pistol can be stored in the thigh holster on his right leg, and on his left leg he has another pouch. His knee pads and boots, along with the left forearm guard, are done in a gunmetal. On film, it can look a little bit brownish, but in person, you can really see the gray. His visor has more of a silver finish, and there's some wrinkling sculpted into the mask. The pants are done in full fabric with some nice detail, so it gives you a good range of articulation. You don't have to worry about creasing or anything like that. His upper body is more so covered in kind of a rubbery material. I'm not sure if it's rubber or vinyl. It's really pliable though, so I haven't noticed any issues with posing. I don't know how creasing will perform over time if you leave it stuck in one position. That's something I'm going to have to look at in more of a long-term review. But in terms of posability, I haven't had any issues at all. The arms are single jointed, but they are ratcheted. They'll get you to 90 degrees. The legs are double jointed. You get ankle rotation and pivot. His torso can move forward and back. You can also twist it. The head sculpt is on a ball peg, so you can have him looking up, down, to the side. Like I said, in terms of articulation, this is a really solid figure. I will have to see how it holds up over time, though, because you can definitely tell the difference between the quality of this body and, say, a Hot Toy figure. This one doesn't feel as sturdy as a Hot Toys figure. It doesn't feel cheap in any ways, don't get me wrong. I think it'll be fine, but, you know, in terms of comparisons between this figure and Hot Toys definitely has more sturdy bodies. Now, of course, there is a big difference in price between the Threezero figures and Hot Toys as well. This particular figure cost $150, whereas with Hot Toys, you're usually looking around $220 and up, depending on who the figure is. On the right shoulder, you get the Arashikage logo. And all throughout this figure, there's a lot of nice detail. You get scuffs and scratches on the grenades, on the weapons, on the sword sheath. So you could definitely tell that this guy's been in battle. It doesn't look pristine. So I think they really did a good job in terms of that type of detail. Now, the elephant in the room, like I said, was discussed in my previous videos where I was showing the wrist pegs, and the first figure I got basically came with broken wrist pegs. This figure came with two different pegs that basically separated at the seam. You can put them back together, but those two, if you move the hands around, they pretty much just fall apart. Luckily, there were some extra hands in this version that I got, and they're holding up fairly well, although the hands do not stay in really tight like I would like them. The right hand stays in there pretty well. I can lift the figure up using the right hand. The left one is pretty loose though, and I've noticed that also on my Storm Shadow figure. But it's not a deal breaker by any means, but it's definitely something that you want to be aware of. There may be a company out there that sells wrist pegs on eBay or somewhere that you can get that may fit a little bit more securely. This release is also an older release. They have newer figures like the Firefly and the Roadblock, so I'm not sure if they've solved that issue on those figures. I do plan on picking up at least Firefly, so I'll be able to take a look, and hopefully they fix that issue, because Snake Eyes is one of my favorite characters, and I think they did a great job with this figure. So I'd really like to see this line continue and do well, and I think that's just one of the major things that they need to improve upon. Overall, I think this is a solid pickup though, so if you're in the market for a 1/6 scale Snake Eyes figure, I highly recommend it. Along with the Storm Shadow figure as well. I didn't do a video on that figure. If you guys want to see it, let me know. And we'll see if I continue doing videos in this line. Let me know by hitting that like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when more videos come out. And as always, thank you guys for your support. I'll see you on the next video.